guys, Handsome Nerd ASMR, back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Campylobacter jejuni bacteria using the image provided by Sketchy. The image is called Camping Guide to Bears, as shown over here, and of course, Sketchy Micro is the original author of this image, so be sure to check them out. Anyways, let's talk about some general features of this bacteria. First and foremost, it is a gram-negative bacteria with curved rods and polar flagella. So you can think about the gull's wings and also the curved shaped mustache shown over here. And that helps you remember that the bacteria has curved rods with polar flagella. You can kind of see the curved rod shape over here too in this sample. And then it's also oxidase positive, so you can think about the blue ring, which I'm not sure where it is located on this image, but you can assume, or you can imagine this as the blue ring of some sort, or the blue shirt that this guy is wearing. But anyways, just remember that the bacteria is oxidase positive and also has curved rods with polar flagella. So, some distinguishing features are that the Campylobacter jejuni is microaerophilic, so that means it does not prefer oxygen that much and more strongly prefers carbon dioxide, and that it also grows well at 420 degrees Celsius temperature, which means it is thermophilic. So when you culture this bacteria, you have to make sure the temperature is very high, and you have to be using either the Campy medium or the Sciro agar to grow the bacteria. And the campfire shown over here is to help you remember the Campy medium, and hopefully the Sciro agar as well. And so, 420 degrees Celsius, you can think about 420 blaze it, and associated with the Campylobacter jejuni. Alright, now for the main reservoir. The Campylobacter jejuni is found in the intestinal tracts of the humans, along with the cattle, sheep, dogs, cats, and most importantly, the poultry. So, here we see the chicken rotisserie that is being grilled. That helps you to remember poultry as the prominent reservoir for the Campylobacter jejuni. You can also imagine the chicken wings being shaped in a particular curved shape form, and that helps you remember Campylobacter jejuni as well. Anyways, the main transmission is through the fecal-oral route, primarily from poultry consumption. So once again, be sure to cook your chickens thoroughly. Anyways, for pathogenesis, what's incredible about Campylobacter jejuni is that a low infectious dose is all that is needed for it to be infectious. In fact, as few as 500 may suffice for the Campylobacter jejuni to spread. The bacteria is also acid resistant, so it can pass easily through the stomach, despite the stomach secreting H+ acid. And then afterwards, it invades the mucosa of the colon. And then afterwards, it destroys the mucosal surfaces, causing an inflammatory diarrhea. On the other hand, it rarely causes septicemia. So to remember how the Campylobacter jejuni invades the mucosa of the colon, think about the bears invading the cooler. As we see over here, these hungry bears invading the cooler. And for disease, it is notorious for causing gastroenteritis, and it happens to be the most common cause of infectious diarrhea worldwide, but most commonly in the United States. And it can cause about 10 or more bloody diarrhea a day. My goodness, that's crazy. Anyways, to remember this, think about the red stools around the campfire. And then the other symptoms it can cause And so this is caused by the serotype O19, where we have the antigenic cross-reactivity between the Campylobacter oligosaccharides and the glycosphingolipids on the neural tissue. So what this means is that the antibodies in our body are going to not just target the Campy oligosaccharides, but those same antibodies might also mistakenly target the glycosphingolipids on the neural tissue. Thereby, we lose self-tolerance to these antibodies. And so, with the destruction of the neural tissue, this is going to cause an ascending paralysis from the demyelination of neurons. And this is the classic feature of the Guillain-Barré syndrome. To remember this particular feature of the Campylobacter jejuni, think about the guy in the bears sounds like the Guillain-Barré, even though that's not really how you pronounce it. And the bears playing and tripping over the sausage links represents the Guillain-Barré syndrome, starting in the lower extremity and ascending in its demyelination process. So we have this bear that is playing around and tripping over this sausage link. And honestly, the sausage link kind of looks like the myelin sheets wrapped around the nerves, and this other bear that is munching up the sausage is analogous to the cross-reactivity that leads to the destruction of the myelin sheets, which of course leads to demyelination of the neurons. So that's another way to think about it. Just remember reactive arthritis and Guillain-Barré syndrome as the principal complications of Campylobacter jejuni. After, of course, bloody diarrhea occurs. And then for treatment, the disease is self-limiting within 3 to 5 days, and it is mostly supportive through fluid and electrolyte replacement, once again because of that diarrhea. And then the bacteria is penicillin resistant, so an erythromycin and fluoroquinolones can help. To remember the supportive interventions through fluid and electrolyte replacement, you can think about the camping guy drinking out of the water bottle, which I guess is not shown in this particular snapshot, but that's okay. At least we know that supportive fluid, along with some